Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Mike's Positively Technical World video review. Today we're going to be having a look at the mighty Worx wg084. This is the Worx brushless strimmer with a brush cutter head on it as well. Split shaft design, 40 volt, brushless, not nitro, is worth noting. But it's got three separate speeds. It's got bike handles, so you can sort of like, instead of the traditional D handles like the Worx wg086, you've got twin bike handles to grab hold of it and control it. Should be a very, very interesting video review because of course this is sort of like a sister product to the old Worx wg186, which had the split handle and had the variable heads on it as well. And yeah, we're just going to have a little bit of a comparison really between the two and what it actually brings to the game, if you like. So let's go have a look at it on the workbench. Okay guys, so we're just going to slice her open. Let's see what we've got inside. Obviously I'll slice open each one so that way we're discovering it both at the same time. And this one I haven't even checked the manual beforehand. So everything is just as fresh to me as it is to you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to pick out is this. I assume it's quite ergonomic, so assume this is going to be the bike handlebars. I do love the new packaging that Worx have got. I believe this is cellulose bags, viscose fibre, yeah, viscose cellulose fibres. So these are actually extremely good for the environment, and they're also recyclable as well. So I will stick these to one side and put them out for recycling. So this is the bike bar. There's obviously a separate handle that goes on this side, has to be clamped in place. But yeah, this is where it's going to sit. I'm just going to stick this behind here, pull out the next item. I think the next item we're going to dib and dab a little bit, but this is the head shaft system, and that appears to be a star drive, so we're not going to be compatible with any of our previous heads. That is slightly annoying, I'm not going to lie. I was looking forward to using some of my previous heads from the WG186 for this, but alas, no go. Next up we've got the main body, you can see it there, and the handle grip as well. Let's have a bit of a closer look at the handle grip. It appears it's going to have a digital display. It's got a safety feature just there, a cycle which I assume cycles between speeds 3, 2 and 1. So 3 I assume is going to be flat out, 2 is a mid-range, and 1 is almost like an eco mode. Other observations I made so far is on the back here you've got a hook very similar to the WG186 where you can hang it obviously up on the wall vertically like so. You can just get a little screw, put it in there, and it hooks on. It's very cool. In here we're going to have the guard. Very nice in black, more cellulose bagging. But yeah, this is in black. I believe it's still got the same feature of the detachable guard, which, because it's fresh and new, you will have to depress or put an Allen key in through there to slide it off. And then if you take this rubber piece off here, you have the cutter for the string trim system. Nice that it comes with a little safety sleeve, quite impressed by that. But we'll attach that in a second, I'll show you how. Once we've got everything out of the bag, box. Here we have the string for the string trim head. And interesting, the design of it's completely different to the WG186. If you hold on to it, it's not even like, obviously it didn't originally come with a 3mm string attached. That's something that I done. But yeah, it's I think it's got the same bump function potentially. Let's put it to one side. Yeah, it does, and then an extra piece comes out. And then has it got the auto wind function? Yeah, it does. That's really quite cool. I'll give it the cord diameter. I don't know. So let's just have a look at the manual, which is next to hand almost. The safety and operating manual. This is where the nuts and bolts are at. Obviously in here it will go through health and safety first, table of contents. What to do, what not to do. How to keep yourself safe whilst working with the machine. About charging the batteries, how to charge them, what not to do, what to do. All your symbols that are relatable to health and safety. How to vaguely assemble it, obviously what all the parts are. I'm going to show you how to assemble it in my video, so if you don't want to read the instructions or don't have a clue what the instructions say to you to do and can't interpret them, then bear with me and I will show you how. Also shows you how to charge the batteries. It tells you about taking off the guard when putting it in brush cutter mode. It also tells you about how to replace the head, how to lock it off. The brace system as well, which is just here. I will try and give you a very bad demonstration of how to fit that as well. You basically need it on your hip. So that'll be very comical for you guys. The fact being it's got 3 speeds and obviously multiple ways. Obviously you pull the trigger, as I've already previously shown you. How to change the or remove the cutter for the string. How to rewind the string, and how to make sure that you've got it. It does take a maximum of 3 meters of string each side on the string trimmer for your information. All the numbers and the technical data, the component numbers obviously marry up to that, and then the wording for each one of the instructions featured in the A's, B's and C's are then weirdly and always, they're not even here. It doesn't even give any words. Well, it does kind of operate instructions and how to assemble assembly the shaft. It does tell you and where to see. So those instructions there go with these instructions here and here and also here. Yeah, always very frustrating. Mentioned a couple of times and also in the comments on my videos. The pictures don't match up with the descriptions. You have to flip-flop through the video. Through the manual, sorry, to get obviously the right answer for your questions if you like. It's got vibration, which I'm not really sure, but it vibrates. It's a strimmer, what do you expect? It makes noise as well. It doesn't make a lot of noise. According to this, the weighted sound pressure, which I do know and understand, but I really don't have time to try and explain to you guys, is 78.9 decibels. The uncertainty level on it is 3 decibels. And the weighted sound power is 90.7 decibels. It's still very quiet. That puts it in line with some of the smaller mowers, actually, believe it or not. And the uncertainty, which is the K factor, as I said, is 1.29 decibels at 90.7 decibels for the weighted sound power, not the pressure, the power. And then you've got the front and rear handle vibration measures. So the front handle, which is the one, the bike bars, if you like, those are a lot higher than the rear handle. I'm not sure really where the rear handle is, but we'll find out together, I'm sure. Yeah, other than that, it tells you about how batteries need to obviously be charged and what the flashing lights mean. So if you need obviously to ever refer to those, you can refer to it there. And it also does have a bit of a troubleshooting guide as well about what to do if your battery's low, the product does not start. Obviously, there could be battery connectors. The brush cutter runs intermittently. The battery's not fully inserted, or it's potentially an electrical issue. Very basic sort of bits and pieces to go through, and then you're at the end. I was looking for the diameter of the line. The line diameter 2.4mm twist line recommended, and line length for 6 meters, which is 3 meters either side. The machine weighs 4.6 kilos. The cutting diameter for the brush cutter blade is 25.5 centimeters. The cutting diameter for the grass trimmer is 38 centimeters, fully fledged out, and the 3 speeds are 6,000, 5,000 and 4,000 RPM respectively, and it runs at 40 volts. That's it. That's all you need to know. There's also this is the blade. It's a double-sided blade. I've kind of grown to love this actually. I will be honest with you, when I first started using wg084, I was absolutely petrified to death of using a brush cutter, but now I've got some experience behind it. And I also sent myself on a Lantra course to really, I don't know, get a bit of a sense of knowing and knowledge behind it. I now feel a lot more confident using it. I highly recommend going on a Lantra safety course for brush cutting. It's a one-day course, and it does actually get you qualification in in horticultural maintenance, I think it is. And obviously allows you to operate one of these on a commercial basis. However, I digress. This is a double-sided blade, so you've got a blade there and there, so no matter which, it does actually say a direction and a 10,000 RPM limit. This only does 6,000 RPM, so we're well within the limit of the blade. But like I said, you can actually put it on either direction, it doesn't really matter. We've got blades both sides. In this section here, move it down slightly, we've got the charger. Obviously I've got a UK plug because I'm in the UK. It's one of the 4 amp chargers, so it will charge 2 4 amp batteries at 2 amps a piece, and it will take 2 hours to do that. Or if you put one battery in, it will take 4 amp hour battery, 1 hour to charge, and then you can simply put the next 4 amp battery in if that's what you want to do with it. You can then use them if you like as a fast charger, slow fast charger, compared to the beastly 6 amp one, of course. And then in the very end here, you've got 2 of the Worx 4 amp hour wg084 batteries, and they should have about 3 bars. Yeah, there are 3 bars of juice. Very nice. I'll stick these on charge, and I'll grab 2 of my other here's ones I prepared earlier, batteries to use for the demonstration. That's your half for your bike bars, I think. It's probably actually for the head, actually. It was for the last one for the guard. And then in the bag, an Allen key. Say 4mm Allen key. A T-handled wrench. It's like a spark plug wrench, basically. However, it doesn't have a spark plug, so it's not actually a spark plug wrench, but it's of that type. The cup for the bottom of the brush cutter blade. A 5mm Allen key. A T-handled screw, so it's basically a wing nut screw. And 2 bolts. There we go, we've got everything that we've got on both sides. Everything's now empty. So let's begin the assembly. To install the guard, all you need to do is line up the 2 holes here and here with the 2 holes in there. Hope you can see that. And then take the 2 bolts, kind of rest it straight, and then support it with the back of your hand, insert them through, do them up a couple of threads with your fingers, then take the, I think it's actually a 6mm Allen key. Of course, if you're not from England, that's 1/4 inch, or if you're from England and are above a certain age, that is 1/4 inch. If you're slightly younger or into your metric system, it's 6mm. All you need to do, you don't need to do them up ultra tight, just to the point whereby when you do them up, it stops giving a bit of resistance, or starts giving a bit of resistance even. There you go, happy there. And there we go. Now as an initial offering, I'm going to put it in so that most people, what do you guys want? Would be really the question I should ask, but I'll show you both. The nut for this is a righty loosey, lefty tighty, because it's reverse thread, because of course it spins around. So when you're doing up this nut, to undo it normally, you'd spin it to the left, and to undo this one, you spin it to the right. A bit confusing, but bear with it. Like I said, you lock off using this hole here, because this sort of grips onto the spider spline, and then that will go over the top of the brush cutter blade. So we don't want this or this or this. We just want this for now, and then we're just going to spin this on in the incorrect way, which makes it the correct way, because as I said before, it's a reverse thread. Look, once you've got it vaguely tight, you put your Allen key, your smaller Allen key, in the side here. You put your smaller Allen key in the side here, not before rotating this round, finding where the lockout on it is. Insert your Allen key into there. Just do up the last little bit, and there you have it. That is your head unit installed, ready to go. And of course, if you want to uninstall it and install the brush cutter blade, find that keyway, do it up to undo it. That comes off. Then the order which this goes on is quite imperative. So the blade goes on first, then the big chunky washer. It's got a recess on this side. Okay, that recess sits over like that. The cup sits over the top of that. Then the nut goes on the wrong direction, which in this case makes it the right direction because it's got a reverse thread. That goes back in your hole. Make sure you keep it centre all the time. If not, that vibration uncertainty factor is going to go through the roof. And as you spin it round, just try and make sure that it's centered nicely. I think that's slightly off center, so I'm just going to redo that again. Just talk amongst yourselves. Post editing might speed this up. There you go, it's slightly better than it was before. But of course, we want to use the string, so I hope you like that for the brush cutter. But now I'm just going to stop and go back again. There we go, guys. That's the the head now back to string trimmer format, which is where it's now going to stay until I've done the video review. It is worth noting that there's a plastic cover on here. We'll take that off for now. This tool, actually I think this is going to be completely tool free. So this bar is going to sit somewhere in the region of here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this aluminium piece, or aluminum, and put it here. T-screw goes in. It's not T-screw at all, it's a wing nutted bolt. What we need to do with this is there are 2 sets of screws. So if we take the T-driver, it's got 2 screws. You can clearly see one at the bottom here. Just going to take that out. Be careful not to lose the nut on the other side. It's just there. And then I think we're also going to have to, we might be able to get away with not doing this. So I think that bolt in the end there is actually higher. There's 2 lugs that you definitely not going to be able to see, but trust me, there's 2 lugs either side there, and they fit in with these little slots that you can see just here if I zoom in. He says, bring it up slightly. So you can see just here, the camera will focus. You gonna try and focus? Go camera. Come on. There we go. We are focusing. Right, yeah, so they've got 2 T-slots either side just here. And then inside here there is a little lug. And when it goes down, it should just lock into that. There we go. And then when we put this screw in, it should go through the hole in the bar just here. It says, need to zoom out for that. I'll show you this now because no, I won't. What I'll do to make things a little bit neater, take the clip which was lurking on the bar just there, clip it around the cable, and then just find the appropriate point where the cable is not under a massive amount of tension, like that. It's not too slack and will get in the way either, probably somewhere about there. Looks about nice. You also don't want it to interfere with the clasp. I'm going to say that's a little bit too long, to be honest. Let's try and get it a bit of a halfway house. There we go. Still too long there, but a little minor thing I think that is. Right, before I put a blade on the end of it, let's put 2 pre-charged batteries. Ones I prepared earlier. We got our Blue Peter days. And let's just have a look at the controls. Still see that okay? I hope so. Not, I suppose I can always zoom in. So obviously there's not going to be anything to physically see because nothing's attached at the moment. However, audibly you should be able to notice speed 1. Okay, so it goes speed 1, the second speed is actually speed 3, which is 6,000 RPM. Then the third speed is the second speed, which is 5,000 RPM, and then you can turn it right the way down to 4,000 RPM, which I'm not going to lie to you, apart from the high-pitched scream, if you like, from the motor, there's not really a lot of noise comparatively. I would say variably it's probably a bit noise free. You can actually cycle the 3 speeds as well preemptively before you fire it up, so you don't have to fire it up and then change speeds, which is quite cool. Safety switch in, straight up to 6,000 RPM. I do like the fact being also it spools rather than instantly going bang up to 6,000 RPM, even with no load on it. It's a very slow spool, so if you are in a bit of a pickle, or you're accidentally about to chop your own leg off, I suppose, and using the brush cutter, or you're about to do something a little bit silly, it will do it very gently, so you might not get as much kickback. Nice little feature. Same obviously in first speed. And second as well. So there we go. To put both halves together, probably going to struggle with camera angles for this, if I'm honest, but let's go for it. To put both halves together, you need a bigger, longer, wider lens. Lovely. You take your bottom half of the shaft and you insert it into the bottom of the top. Do the wing nut up. That is a wing nut because there's no, it's not. It's a wing bolt. It's a wing bolt because there's a bolt on the other side, and the wing bolt goes into the nut and does up. And there we have it. If you keep it flat, it will lay flat on the ground as well. Nice little feature. So, it's a bit big now, isn't it, really? I think I need a more clearer desk, but let's just take you out for a second here. And there we have. Hello, camera grip. Yeah. And there we have the Worx wg084 ready to rip and tear. Right, without further ado, let's take it outside and give it a go. The brake blade. fit the harness is quite simple. Obviously there's a bit more of me than there is probably of you, so yeah, it's probably a bit more ridiculous. But basically you have it so that, adjust all these so that it kind of comes across the top of your chest. I suppose the clips need to be in line with your pectorials. And yeah, you just want it so that it kind of sits comfortably, naturally, sort of about there-ish is the best way to put it. And you want it so that it sits kind of on your waistline, nice comfy position here, so that once you raise the head up towards the ground, it just sits naturally, basically. Not really much more to it. So I'm just going to pull you down slightly. So we've got ourselves a little bit of nettles here. This is about the only bit of undergrowth left in my entire garden, really, because it's currently under renovation. So yeah, I do apologise, but I'm trying to cover all 3 speeds with this and a couple of nettles over there. So I do apologise, it's going to be a very small part about this. I might try and do some more hardcore brambles later on and mix them in as well. But I'm just going to put it in mode 1. So you can probably see there. Green lights illuminating mode 1. And I'm just going to try this, then move up to mode 2 and then mode 3 as well. I think it's capable in mode 1. And mode 2, medium. Mode 3 flat out for the next bit. Yeah. I think we'll all agree that's fairly sufficient. I suppose I better do the last remaining few bits as well. Not as much difference, but then there's virtually my entire garden completely done. So. I suppose you're going to want me to do a bit of a wrap on the wg084. It's extremely good, it's agile, it's nimble, it's very comfy in the strap, and it's about what you'd expect really from a Worx. It's a non-nitro product. I was about to say a Worx nitro product, but it's not a nitro product, so yeah, it's about what you expect from a Worx 40 volt non-nitro strimmer, really. Obviously I'm going to try the brush cutter hedge. I'm going to do some brambles, but yeah, from me that's really about it. wg084, like I said, it's a little bit annoying that the shafts don't need to change with the wg186. I find it annoying. You're probably like, I don't really care, I never bought them anyway, which is fine. But if you have got wg186, this isn't a wg186 with bike handlebars, unfortunately, which we all kind of secretly wanted it to be. I certainly did. Yeah, I shall, I suppose, finish up there. I haven't really got a lot else to say about it. I might see whether I can find out whether or not there's any aftermarket non-Worx attachments you can get, because that half split shaft design, I know there's several other companies out on the market that might do attachments that do fit it, but we'll have a look and we'll see. I might maybe post a video up once I've got them and see how they fare. Anyway guys, speak to you soon and see you in the next video.